Well, in my last video, I talked about the Kala all mahogany model and the fact that it was running the Aquila strings, 21 U's I think they are, and just a standard DGBE tuning. And I made reference to the Córdoba 24B that I've done a couple reviews on. The first one that I did was just on the uke, standard tuning. I think they had Aquila strings, whatever came from the factory. Second one was Worth Brown's on it with a low G. Well, after I finished off with a low G, I put on a high G, and then I was doing some reading about Jake. I can't pronounce his last name. I think it's Shima Buckaroo, but I'm sure that's totally wrong. Forgive me, Jake. I just call him Jake, like we're buds. Although I've never had the privilege of meeting him. But on his tenor and his baritone, he runs the same J71 Diodario strings that are tenor for a tenor. So he takes tenor strings and puts them on his baritone, his Kamaka baritone, and tunes it D, G, B, E. So I had Worth Brown's on my Córdoba tenor strings, high G, and I thought, well, maybe I'll just tune them down to D and or D, G, B, E and see how it sounds. So here it is, Worth Brown's tenor strings and high G, and I love it. That's open. G. The thing is there's so many different tunings and strings and combinations. If you go on the ukulele forum, we talk about this ad nauseum. It's all personal taste. So you may look at that and go, I don't like that tone. I wish there were baritone, DGB, whatever, high D, whatever you like. What I did was I put these on and I just was for days just loving that tone. And so I was working on that song, Christmas Time Is Here, and I just I love the way that sounds with a high D. Now compare that to the standard tuning. Remember, these are both tuned D, G, B, E. This is just a low G, and these are the D and the G are wound strings. See how that low D just seems out of place to me for this particular song. Now, for other things, it sounds great. But for this particular song, I thought it sounded great. Very clear. There's no muddiness, no low booming bass. Sounds really good. So I like that. And I didn't change strings. Remember, I had this tuned G, C, E, A with a high G, and I just tuned it down. And they're not floppy at all. They're not loose at all. They feel great. Hey, if it's good enough for Jake, it's good enough for me. So at least try it. You may just go, oh, I didn't know I could do that. So I'm assuming now that on a tenor tune G, C, E, A, that you could tune it down also, end up with a high D. I'm not really sure. I haven't spent a lot of time doing that. Might be a little floppy, maybe not. It might be great. I don't know. Now, one of the things we're going to be doing here in the future, now we're back to the Kala. Regular chord, sounds great. I'm going to be doing, I think, maybe even some recording, because I've got this is all done with an iRig mic studio microphone, condenser mic. I really like it, very clear. I think I'm going to do, because I on my own time, my background is worship ministry, worship songs. I led worship for years. And I've been working with this particular uke, just modifying with the 4 strings, and I just think it sounds fantastic. So if you're strumming, I do classic worship. I haven't learned a new worship song in quite a while. In moments like these, sing out a song, sing out a love song to Jesus. I think it sounds great. Picking, oh Lord, you're beautiful. Your face is all I see. Old Keith Green song. So I may do some stuff with that. Might even record a few songs on either iPad or on the MacBook Pro. But I think that the low G sounds good. The only thing I don't like is the wound strings. You get a little squeak. Even though I've been playing for a few years with guitar, I've only been playing uke about a year and a half. You're going to have a little bit of that. To get away from that, I went to the baritone strings, low D, Worth Browns. There's no wound. None of them are wound. I didn't like the tone. I love Worth Browns on the tenor and on the Córdoba, but for some reason it didn't seem to work. So I may go with something different if I decide to do some of that recording, just to get rid of that string squeak. Maybe some Living Water strings are supposed to be really good, and Ken does unwound strings also. So anyway, all personal preference. Try your high D. I like that for that application. For the worship, it's good. It's okay. It doesn't seem as full as the low D. And these are tenor strings. Anyway, we'll have another video up soon, and have a good one. Bye.